Hey Justin, how you doing? Uh,
Good.
just want to see kind of what led you to the Red Sox. What this offseason was like for you in general, waiting to see where you were going to end up.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. Obviously, I think it's pretty well known. I spent my last 9 years with the Dodgers. Grew up in Southern California, turned my career around with the Dodgers, and to be quite honest, going into the offseason, I made it pretty clear that I had a very strong interest in returning there and continuing on with them. But as things shook out and time went on, and started having conversations with other teams, including the Red Sox, and seeing the different opportunities that were presented in front of me, I found it very intriguing. One, that I got recruited pretty heavily by a lot of guys, both current and former. A lot of text messages, phone calls talking about how great it is to be a Red Sox, and two, just the opportunity to join another historic franchise and put on another historic uniform and try to bring another championship back to Boston. And had a lot of conversations with AC, and love what he's all about. I actually played with AC for a brief stint, so know him well. And there's also a ton of familiarity with a lot of former teammates that I played with the Dodgers over here. So a lot of conversations there, and excited again to get in this clubhouse, get with this group of guys that seems like it's a really, really good group of guys, and potential to do a lot of special things. And the goal is to win a championship.
And just one follow up. When did you start to feel like it just wasn't going to happen with the Dodgers this offseason?
I mean, I don't really know if there was ever a moment. I think, when you're with a team that long, and you're going into free agency, you kind of always are, kind of waiting and hoping that, they're in play. But there's a point that you realize this is a business, and, they had decisions they had to make, and I had decisions I had to make, and it just didn't work out. So, fortunately, I got to land in a place like Boston that has, a very, very historic roots in this game. And like I said, I'm looking forward to being a part of this franchise.
Justin, what have the Red Sox told you about what your role is going to be in Boston? Is it mostly DH at bats, or how do you see that shaking out?
Yeah, I mean, mostly DH, little first base. Hopefully not too much third base. Hoping, Rafi's over there every day. But it's one thing to talk about roles, but it's another thing once the season goes on and things start happening. There's a lot of things that go into it. So I've done a lot of things in my career. I've played all over the infield. I've been a part of a bunch of different roles, and I'm not really coming into it with the mindset that I have one job or one role or just DHing. I'm going to be ready to play wherever AC needs me to play, and understand that, over the course of 162, a lot of things happen, and might be asked to step into some different roles.
Justin, you mentioned your former teammates who are now with the Red Sox. How much will that make it easier for you to, change teams? It's been a long time since you've had to do that.
Yeah, it has. The last time I changed teams, I walked into a clubhouse where I knew everyone from seeing them play on TV, and had no personal relationship. So this will be a little bit different. Obviously, Kike, Doogie, who have been with the Red Sox and kind of understand how things work, and that'll be awesome to help make the transition and kind of adopt to the Red Sox ways quicker. And then also with Kenley and Chris Martin coming over, and spending time with them and knowing what they're about, there's a lot of familiarity. So I think that definitely will help this transition. And also, I know those guys really well and know what they bring in a clubhouse, and I'm looking forward to, being a part of that.
Was Kike the guy who was kind of the lead recruiter in this, or?
Yeah, Kike is always in the middle of everything, as I'm sure you guys know. So he's a really, really good friend of mine, and obviously talk to him a lot about everything, not just baseball. So yeah, to say he didn't have a big part of this would be a lie.
Thank you.
Justin, in terms of what you were seeing from the Red Sox, like this is, you signed shortly after Xander had signed elsewhere. You had seen Kenley and Chris Martin already signed with the Red Sox. Where did you kind of see them in terms of their competitive cycle, and what kinds of questions did you want answered before committing to them?
Yeah, I obviously know that the Red Sox and the organization and the ownership group is a group that's committed to winning and wants to win championships, which is something that I respect a lot, and it was something that I loved about being a Dodger as well, was the commitment to winning championships. So that was definitely a part of the decision making, and seeing guys like Kenley and Chris Martin come in to shore up the back end of the bullpen, which is pretty important in our game, making sure when you have a lead going into those late innings, you're able to finish off those games and complete them, was definitely intriguing as well. And like I said, there's a lot of talent over here, a lot of good players. Love AC and the way he goes about it. I've heard great things, and looking forward to contribute, both on the field and off the field, and helping bring another championship back to Boston.
Justin, what stands out to you about this lineup? What's intriguing to you about the lineup, and how do you see yourself fitting into that group?
Well, I know obviously Kike and Doogie pretty well from playing with them in the past, but the number one that stands out is getting an opportunity to watch Rafi play every single day, and the way he takes his at bats and goes about his business. I've watched him on TV from afar, and obviously I think he's one of the more talented players in our game. So getting the opportunity to see what he's about and be around him is really exciting. The signing of Yosh, I don't know a lot about him, but I've heard a lot about him, and I think he's going to be an impact guy who is off the charts at moving the ball forward, and bat to ball skills are really going to play, and hopefully he'll be feeding that monster in left field. And there's also some young guys in the organization that have a lot of upside, and hopefully I can help be an impact to them on their work and their preparation and their routines, and giving themselves the best chance to succeed as well.
You had a really strong second half of the season. Is that traditional for you? You're traditionally a good second half player, and what was going well for you, particularly in terms of driving the baseball?
I think traditionally I'm a slow starter in April. I didn't expect to have a slow entire first half. I think that was kind of shocking to me. I felt good. I was putting in the work. I just wasn't getting the results. And I don't know what clicked or what it was. That one night, I think it was June 29th against the Padres, had a big game, and kind of everything just clicked from there. And something I've learned over the years in playing, and I've had this conversation before with Mark Kotze, who's a friend of mine with a Fullerton connection, and he talks about all the time, it's a 162 game season. It's called an average for a reason. You're going to have a couple bad months. You're going to have a couple great months. Sometimes, the bad months are clumped together. Sometimes they happen in the beginning. But if you stay the course and trust the process, those good months are going to come. And I kind of think that was the perfect description of my season last year. I just had all the bad stuff in the beginning, and I had all the good stuff at the end. So it's easy to say I sucked in the beginning and was great at the end, but I just think it's kind of how it shakes out. And like I said, it's called an average for a reason.
Justin, obviously it's kind of a unique contract structure. What intrigued you about doing the deal that way?
Honestly, I didn't have a whole lot to do with that structure. I think every team is dealing with different things financially, and ways to be creative and manage whatever their budget is. And I know Chaim and my agent Greg worked tirelessly to figure out a way to make it work, and I think they got pretty creative in the way they did it, and I'm happy it all worked out.
Justin, how do you see Fenway and the Green Monster kind of playing to your swing?
Yeah, you know what's wild is I think over my career, I've maybe played 6 or 7 games in Fenway. And I do think that, pulling the ball in the air is one of my strengths. And when I'm right at the plate, that's something I do very well. And I don't think that, coming in there and trying to be a dead red, like turn and burn guy is ideal. And I don't think that that's what I'm going to end up doing. But, when I'm feeling good, I'm spraying the ball over the place, but a lot of pull side balls in the air. So I'm hoping that benefits me big time with that, short porch over there. And, I joked a lot in LA about, how many times I flew out to the warning track. So I think it's going to turn some of those warning track flyouts into long singles or doubles and hopefully create some more extra base hits.
Did you and Alex cross paths with the Mets in 2010? Is that when it would have been?
I actually pinch hit for Alex in my first at bat for the Mets. So yeah.
Wow. What do you, anything particular you remember about playing with him or?
Just, I was only there briefly that year in 2010. So I was kind of just happy to be there and trying to be quiet and stay out of everyone's way. But I know Alex was a great competitor, played the game the right way, played the game hard. His famous, whatever it was, 20 pitch at bat, was very familiar with that. So again, I think he is a baseball rat, so to speak, loves the game, is constantly thinking the game. And I'm looking forward to being in the same dugout with him and the many, many conversations to come.
Hey, Justin, obviously, pitchers, change leagues all the time. And, the schedules are a lot more spread out nowadays where your NL teams are playing AL teams, but just what's the transition maybe going to be like for you having spent almost your entire career in the NL, kind of moving to the AL and how that might be for you? Have you thought about that at all or how it might work?
Yeah, definitely. I think, even more so than these last couple of years, I'm finding that I'm facing more and more guys that I've never seen before anyway, even in the National League. So I feel like the turnover in bullpens and starting pitching is kind of increased. And every day we're, last year going over bullpens and going over pitching staffs. And there was, 5, 6, 7 guys that I had never seen before, never faced before. So I think it's going to be pretty similar next year facing they might just miss those keynote guys. Like I won't be facing Bumgarner a bunch, which I have a ton of history, or, Cueto, a ton of history. So, but with the new format and the new schedule, I'll be familiar with a lot of teams that we're playing. So that might help in the batting cage and in some of those conversations with the guys game planning going into a lot of those National League series.
Hey, Justin. So also next year we have the new pace of play rules coming into effect. How do you anticipate that might affect your game? And I don't know, were you a guy who tends to prefer to move quickly? Did you kind of hang out in the box? What do you think that's gonna do for you?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to affect me that much. And I'm saying that now, not having experienced it. I do like the game to move along. I don't like guys that take a lot of time on the mound or getting in the box. I found myself yelling out of the dugout frequently, like, let's go, like, get on the mound. So I think it's going to help that part of it. I just hope that it's not going to impact the results of the game. I like the idea of helping guys speed up, but hopefully it's not, costing people or teams wins or runs or earned runs or anything like that. I don't think that's the point of the rule. I think it's just trying to pick up the tempo a little bit, trying to grab a few more young kids' attention by having more action.
Justin, 2 times you play from Escogido in Dominican Winter League. How the Dominican Winter League helped you becoming a major league player?
Yeah, I think that had a big impact on my career and just learning how to work and enjoy the game and have fun, and learning that it's okay to appreciate the little things no matter what. I know going down there, one of my favorite stories that I tell is one of the first home runs I hit down there. Carlos Gomez was actually rehabbing at the time, and we were in Aguilas or playing Aguilas, and I hit a homer, and at the time I didn't hit a lot of home runs, so I had no idea it was a homer when I hit it, and started running hard out of the box. And after I rounded first, realized it was a homer and kept going. And I remember Carlos Gomez ran down to the dugout. He was sitting in the stands watching, and he yelled at me. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "We don't run hard down here. We enjoy our homers. We celebrate our homers. You got to celebrate those things." I'm like, man, I don't hit enough homers to know when it's a home run, but there's little things like that, and learning how to appreciate the game, appreciate the big moments, celebrate the big moments, and how passionate everyone is down there for every single game. And I feel like we're going to get that, or I'm going to experience that in Boston as well. I feel like the atmosphere there. I mentioned I haven't played very many games, but every game kind of feels like a playoff atmosphere, and the fans are passionate, and they want to see us win. And so I'm looking forward to that opportunity.
Justin, you spent obviously, almost the last decade, every year you've been in the postseason. This is a team that was in last place last year, as everybody knows. What about the pitch convinced you that, you'd be able to continue that postseason streak this next coming year?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, right? We did make the postseason every year for the last 9 years. And, our teams fluctuated in LA from, a ton of superstars to few superstars and whatnot. But like, the thing that I learned is that on paper doesn't make you win a World Series. What it says on paper doesn't equate to a World Series. It's what you have in the clubhouse. It's the group of guys that you have. It's, trying to, it sounds cliche, but getting all 26 guys pulling on the same end of a rope. And I think there is a lot of talent in the clubhouse. I think there is a lot of opportunity to have success and to make a run in the playoffs. It wasn't too long, just 21, that run you guys made, or I should say we now, sorry. The Red Sox made in 21 was spectacular. And I don't think anyone was really kind of putting their finger on the Red Sox going into September that they were going to make the run they did. So everyone has the opportunity, and it's about the guys in the clubhouse and what you make of it.
Anyone else for Justin?
Yeah, Justin, quickly, how many actual contract offers did you have to choose between at the end? And like, other than Kike, what put the Red Sox offer over the top?
Hi, JP.
Howdy.
Yeah, I was talking to 4 or 5 different teams, and I think I actually received 4 contract offers. And I was probably a few days away from receiving a 5th one before I decided to sign with the Red Sox. So, and then, I mentioned a lot of them, joining another historic franchise and getting opportunity to leave my mark on them and trying to contribute to bring another championship back to Boston. And, I think every player wants to win and wants to win a World Series. And, that's the goal. I'm not coming here to, try to teach everyone how to be a good person and be a cheerleader in the clubhouse. I want to go out and compete and play and win baseball games. And, that was a big factor for me.
And were the Dodgers one of the 4 that did offer you a contract? Yeah. Thanks.